Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into the world of meditation and breath work.
Yeah, we're looking at some techniques from a 9-day course, trying to pull out the practical stuff.
Exactly. Things aimed at building, inner peace, mental clarity. Our goal really is to give you methods you can use pretty much right away.
Right, to get that sense of calm, maybe a bit more focus when things feel chaotic.
That's exactly where we're heading. We're doing a deep dive into that very idea today.
Yeah, we're looking specifically at the teachings of the School of Breath, really focusing on Abhi Duggal's perspective on, well, how you can build a whole lifestyle around breathing consciously.
Right. The School of Breath. Think of it as a shortcut. We want you to get the main ideas, understand why maybe your mind feels so cluttered sometimes.
And how that links to your energy levels, right?
Yeah. And the mission for you listening is to walk away with some actual tools, things you can try today and hopefully feel, well, something shift.
Okay, so where do we start? The course kicks off with this idea of 3 energy channels.
Right. The Ida, Pingala, and Sushumna. Now, for someone who sits down and tries to meditate and their mind just, explodes with thoughts, what's the key thing about these channels?
Well, the idea is that Ida, the left channel, is tied to mental energy.
Oh.
That inner chat, the thoughts spinning around.
Okay, mental. Got it.
And Pingala, the right side, is more about physical energy, activity, maybe feeling a bit restless.
Okay. So if you're trying to be still but feel fidgety or your mind's racing.
It often means one of those channels, Ida or Pingala, is kind of dominating. There's an imbalance.
Right.
The sweet spot for meditation, the goal really, is to activate Sushumna.
Yeah.
That's the central channels where you find balance, that natural state of calm.
That makes a lot of sense because, yeah, sometimes I sit and I just can't settle. Leg twitching, mind going a mile a minute with lists. So how does this connect to something simple, like how we're breathing through our nose?
It's actually pretty direct. Breathing more through your left nostril tends to activate Ida, that mental side. And breathing more through the right nostril links up with Pingala, the physical energy.
So you can actually check this.
Yeah, there's a simple way. Just bring your palms up towards the bridge of your nose, kind of cupped slightly, and just exhale normally through your nose.
Okay, doing it now.
You'll probably feel the airflow stronger on one palm than the other.
Yeah, definitely feeling more on my right.
So if you're feeling maybe a bit restless or physically energized, that would align with your Pingala being more active right now.
Wow, okay. That's interesting.
And, traditionally, they notice these channels naturally balance out a few times a day, like around sunrise, noon, and sunset.
Which is why those are often seen as good meditation times.
Exactly. But like you said, what if it's 3 p.m., you're feeling scattered, and you need that calm now? You can't always wait for sunset.
Precisely. We need techniques for, real life.
Yeah.
So the course gives us one, right? This alternate nostril breathing.
Nadi Shodhana pranayama, yeah. It's designed specifically to balance these channels. But first, it often suggests starting with something called Kapalbhati.
Breath of fire. What's that for? Is it necessary?
Think of it as like clearing the pipes first. Kapalbhati uses these quick, forceful exhales.
Right.
And that action helps kind of blow out any energetic dust or blockages, preparing the way for the more subtle balancing of Nadi Shodhana.
Okay, like shaking out a rug before you fold it neatly. Makes sense. So then we move to the main event, Nadi Shodhana. There's a specific hand position, Vishnu Mudra.
Thumb on one side, ring finger on the other, first 2 fingers folded down.
Why that specific way of holding the hand? Is it just practical?
Well, it's practical, yes, because it lets you gently close off the nostrils easily. But traditionally, mudras are also thought to help direct prāṇa, or energy flow. Folding those fingers is said to kind of complete an energetic circuit.
Okay, so the basic pattern. You breathe in one side, hold, breathe out the other, then breathe in that side, hold out the first side.
That's the core cycle, yeah.
And the video mentioned counts, like inhale 4, hold 8, exhale 8. Why that 1 to 2 to 2 ratio?
That ratio is pretty common. The slightly longer exhale compared to the inhale is really key for tapping into the parasympathetic nervous system.
The rest and digest system.
Exactly. It promotes relaxation. And the hold, the retention phase, gives a moment for that energy to kind of integrate and settle.
Okay. And I think it also mentioned sometimes holding the breath after the exhale, too, like a 4-8-8-4 pattern.
Yes, that's another variation. Holding the breath out after the exhale can sometimes deepen that sense of inner quiet or stillness even more.
So it really amplifies the calming effect.
It can, yeah. It
Oh.
encourages a more complete release before you even start the next inhale.
Mhm.
So doing this whole practice, Nadi Shodhana, is basically a conscious way to harmonize Ida and Pingala,
Bringing the mental and physical energies into balance.
which naturally allows Sushumna, that central channel, to become more active. And that's the ideal state for going deeper into meditation.
Okay, cool. So let's say we've done our Nadi Shodhana. We feel a bit more centered, hopefully. We sit down, and boom, thoughts. Just a flood.
The classic experience.
Yeah. And video 3, he tackles this, which is great. It busts that myth that meditation means no thoughts.
Which is such a relief to hear, honestly.
Yeah,
Because trying to force thoughts away usually just makes them louder.
totally. And it threw out some wild numbers like 50,000 to 60,000 thoughts a day.
It's staggering when you think about it.
Whoa.
And the energy cost. The brain is what, maybe 2.5% of our body weight?
Something like that, yeah.
But it uses around 30% of our daily calories. That tells you something huge. Thoughts consume real energy. Prāṇa. Vital energy.
Wow.
And here's the kicker. The Course highlights that something like 95% of those thousands of thoughts are often the same thoughts we had yesterday. Repetitive loops.
Oh, man, 95%. So no wonder we feel mentally exhausted sometimes, even if we haven't, run a marathon.
Exactly. It's like having dozens of apps open in the background on your phone, just draining the battery. This constant, often unconscious mental chatter saps our vital energy.
Okay, so it's not about stopping the thoughts because they're natural. What's the alternative then?
Awareness. That's the key the Course emphasizes, shifting your relationship to the thoughts, becoming an observer.
Right, not getting tangled up in the thought, but just noticing it float by. The video used that snowball analogy.
Yeah, how a tiny thought can start rolling downhill, picking up speed and negativity, becoming this whole drama that just sucks your energy dry.
So how do we actually do that? How do we practice being the observer?
It starts simply by noticing, just catching yourself when a thought arises. Meditation practice helps create that little gap, pause, where you can see the thought as just a mental event, not necessarily truth, not something you have to react to immediately.
And the Course gives a specific technique for this too, starting with chin mudra, thumb and index finger touching, palms up.
Mm-hmm. Chin mudra is often associated with receptivity, with knowledge. It's said to create a kind of energetic seal that helps with concentration and turning inward.
Okay, and there's a breath pattern to start.
Yes, that 4-2-6-2 pattern. The longer exhale reinforces that calm state, making it a bit easier to observe the mind without getting swept away.
And then the main practice is?
It's simply to watch. Gently notice thoughts as they come up. No judgment, no trying to push them away. The instruction is actually kind of nice. Offer the thought a little mental smile.
Smile, okay.
Then gently, gently bring your focus back to the sensation of your breath. The breath is your anchor.
The anchor, I like that because the mind wanders off and the breath is always there to come back to.
Always there. And the Course mentions, be patient. It might take consistent practice, maybe around 21 days, to really start noticing your focus improving.
Okay, so observing thoughts, using the breath anchor, but sometimes thoughts feel really sticky or loud or just negative. Video 4 offers another tool using sound.
Yes, Brahmari pranayama, the humming bee breath. This one is specifically highlighted as being really beneficial for the mind itself.
Humming bee. Why is that good for thoughts?
The humming sound you make creates a very gentle vibration, mainly felt inside the head. And this vibration is thought to have a really soothing effect directly on the brain and the nervous system.
Like an internal massage for the brain.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah, it helps to calm agitation, reduce that mental static.
And there's another special hand position for this one, Shanmukhi Mudra. Looks a bit complex.
It does look like a lot. It involves gently using your fingers to close off the 7 gates, the ears, eyes, nostrils, mouth. Thumbs usually go on the little cartilage flaps of the ears.
The tragus.
Exactly. Fingers lightly cover the eyes, maybe the nostrils, lips gently closed. The point is to really minimize external sensory input.
Turn everything inward.
Fully inward.
Yeah.
So you take a deep breath in, and then as you exhale, you make that soft, continuous humming sound like a bee for the whole exhale.
Okay. And the Course suggested, 6 rounds of that?
6 rounds is a good number to start with. And then Importantly, after the Brahmari, it suggests sitting in silence for about 4 minutes.
Just observing again.
Just observing the breath, noticing the stillness, gently returning to the breath if the mind wanders, and the session often ends with 3 rounds of chanting.
So it's quite a sequence. Sensory withdrawal, the calming vibration, silent observation. Seems quite powerful for quieting things down.
It really targets the mind from multiple angles: breath, sound, sensory focus. It can create a pretty profound sense of quiet.
Okay, so we've covered balancing energy, observing thoughts, using sound. Video 5 takes it maybe a step deeper, observing emotions and feelings too.
Yeah, this part draws inspiration from Vipassana meditation. It looks at the whole chain reaction that happens inside us.
Chain reaction.
How our senses take in information, which triggers thoughts. Those thoughts then spark emotions, which we often feel as physical sensations in the body.
Ah, okay. Like anxiety making your stomach clench or anger making your face feel hot.
Precisely. And then the stories we tell ourselves about those emotions and sensations create our overall feelings. So this practice suggests working at the level of the bodily sensations.
Why there? Why the physical feelings?
Because sensations are often the most direct, tangible way we experience our inner state. And crucially, the practice is about observing these sensations, pleasant, unpleasant, neutral, without reacting.
Just watching them, even if they're uncomfortable.
Especially if they're uncomfortable. The key insight is non-judgmental observation. Noticing the sensation arise, stay for a bit, and eventually pass away without pushing it away or clinging to it.
Because they do pass away, right? They're not permanent.
Exactly, they are impermanent. Seeing that directly through observation helps break our habitual patterns of reacting, aversion, and craving.
And the video guides a body scan for this.
A simple scan, starting maybe at the top of the head, slowly moving awareness down through the body, section by section, just noticing whatever sensations are present.
Without needing to label them good or bad. Just noticing.
Just noticing. Tingling, pressure, warmth, coolness, tightness, ease, whatever is there. The Course suggests this can be incredibly powerful for releasing stuff we hold on to.
Like stored tension. Or even old emotions.
Yeah, suppressed fear, old hurts, things that might be lodged in the body as tension patterns, maybe even since childhood.
Yeah.
By bringing non-reactive awareness to them, they can start to dissolve.
That sounds pretty deep. And again, consistency is key.
Consistency is definitely key. Like the other practices, doing this body scan regularly, maybe aiming for that 21-day mark again, can lead to noticeable shifts in emotional reactivity and resilience.
Wow. Okay. So bringing this all together for everyone listening. We've gone through quite a lot, but it feels really practical.
It really does. We started with those energy channels, Ida, Pingala, Sushumna.
And how alternate nostril breathing, Nadi Shodhana, can help bring them into balance, which is huge for just feeling centered before you even try to meditate.
Right. Then understanding thoughts not as enemies, but as energy consumers, and learning to just watch them, observe them, using the breath as that all-important anchor.
Yeah, that shift from being in the thought to watching the thought.
And we got tools like Brahmari, the humming bee breath, using sound to directly soothe the mind.
And finally, this deeper practice of observing sensations in the body, noticing emotions without reacting, just watching them come and go.
And the beauty of all this is, these aren't some esoteric, complex things you need years to learn. They're accessible.
Totally. Like you could check your nostril dominance right now listening to this, or just take 3 breaths right now and make your exhale a little bit longer than your inhale. See how that feels.
Exactly. Or next time you feel a strong emotion, just pause for a second and see where you feel it in your body. Just notice. No need to fix it, just notice.
That quick body scan, you could do that waiting in line or sitting at your desk for 2 minutes.
You don't need hours. Even these small moments of awareness, practiced regularly, can start to build up. They can make a real difference in feeling less overwhelmed, more clear.
So maybe the final thought to leave you with is this. What if you started consciously managing your breath just a little bit more? What if you brought just a touch more awareness to your internal world, those thoughts, feelings, sensations?
Yeah, consider how that might shift things day to day. And think about all that mental energy currently caught up in those repetitive thought loops we talked about.
The 95%.
Right. If you could free up even a little bit of that energy through these practices, what could you do with it? What might you create or experience or simply notice with that extra focus and presence?
Something definitely worth exploring. To shift from just surviving, just getting through the day, to actually thriving by connecting with this fundamental part of ourselves. And tools like the School of Breath app make that shift more accessible than ever.
And that phrase Abhi Duggal uses, breathe with me, and living by design, not by default, that really hits home that intentionality piece.
It does. It's a simple but profound reminder, isn't it? That we have this incredible resource available to us literally every second. And by using the guidance and tools the School of Breath offers, people can really start tapping into that power.
So, wrapping up this deep dive into the School of Breath, maybe a final thought for everyone listening. Just consider for a moment, what could happen if you started consciously engaging with your breath? This thing that's always with you. What shifts might occur in your experience? What potential might you unlock within yourself?
Until our next deep dive.